In psychology, the idea of stupid people is not as simple as it sounds. Most of the time, people are not truly stupid. They may lack knowledge, emotional control, awareness, or critical thinking skills in certain situations. Intelligence is not only about IQ. It also includes emotional intelligence, social skills, patience, and self-control. So when intelligent people feel frustrated with others, the real question is not how to deal with stupid people, but how to deal wisely with difficult behavior. Intelligent people understand one important truth. You cannot control others, but you can control yourself. This mindset changes everything. When someone says something foolish, reacts emotionally, or refuses to listen to logic, the natural reaction is anger or irritation. But psychology teaches that reacting emotionally to irrational behavior only increases conflict. A truly intelligent person stays calm. Calmness is power. When you stay calm, you protect your energy. One key psychological principle is emotional regulation. Emotionally immature people react quickly without thinking. They speak without understanding the consequences. They interrupt, blame, complain, or argue loudly. Intelligent people pause before responding. They give themselves a few seconds to think. That small pause prevents regret. It also shows maturity. Another important concept is cognitive empathy. This means understanding how someone else thinks, even if you disagree with them. Sometimes people appear foolish because they have limited experience or education. Sometimes they grew up in an environment where critical thinking was not encouraged. Instead of insulting them in your mind, try to understand their background. Understanding does not mean agreeing. It simply means you see the bigger picture. Intelligent people also choose their battles carefully. Not every argument deserves a response. Psychology shows that arguing with someone who is not open to change rarely works. When a person's identity is attached to their belief, logic feels like a personal attack to them. The more you push, the more they resist. In such situations, silence is often smarter than debate. Silence is not weakness, it is strategy. Another powerful tool is setting boundaries. Intelligent people know that protecting their mental health is important. If someone constantly spreads negativity, gossip, or ignorance, it is okay to limit contact. Boundaries are not about punishment, they are about self-respect. Psychology explains that people who lack awareness often do not realize how their behavior affects others. You cannot expect self-awareness from someone who has never practiced it. Instead of trying to change them, adjust your distance. Humor is another effective strategy. Light humor can reduce tension. If someone says something foolish, sometimes a gentle joke can redirect the conversation without creating conflict. But humor should not be cruel. Mockery damages relationships. Kind humor keeps peace while protecting your dignity. Intelligent people also understand the Dunning-Kruger effect. This psychological effect explains that people with low ability in a subject often overestimate their knowledge. They think they know more than they actually do. Meanwhile, highly intelligent people often doubt themselves because they see how much there is to learn. When you understand this effect, you stop being shocked by overconfident ignorance. You expect it. And when you expect it, it bothers you less. Patience is another sign of intelligence. Patience does not mean tolerating disrespect. It means recognizing that growth takes time. If the person is important in your life, like a family member or co-worker, sometimes teaching slowly is better than criticizing. People learn better when they do not feel attacked. Use simple explanations. Use examples. Speak calmly. If they still refuse to understand, accept that you have done your part. Another psychological insight is projection. Sometimes people call others stupid because they feel insecure about themselves. They may attack ideas to protect their ego. Intelligent people do not take every insult personally. They analyze it. They ask themselves, is this about me or about them? Often, it is about them. This awareness prevents unnecessary emotional pain. Energy management is also important. Every interaction costs mental energy. If you spend your energy arguing with irrational people, you will feel drained. Intelligent people protect their focus. They invest energy in learning, creating, and building meaningful relationships. They do not waste hours trying to win arguments with people who do not listen. Self-control is one of the highest forms of intelligence. When someone behaves foolishly, your reaction defines you. If you respond with insults, you lower yourself to the same level. If you respond with calm confidence, you maintain your standards. Psychology calls this response inhibition, the ability to stop yourself from acting on impulse. Strong response inhibition is linked to higher life success. Sometimes the best strategy is detachment. Detachment does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop expecting certain people to behave differently. Expectations create frustration. When you lower unrealistic expectations, you feel more peace. You interact without emotional investment in the outcome. Communication style also matters. Intelligent people use clear and simple language. They avoid complicated words when speaking to someone who may not understand. This is not about superiority, it is about effectiveness. The goal of communication is understanding, not showing off knowledge. Adapt your message to your audience. This is a skill called social intelligence. There is also a difference between ignorance and stubbornness. Ignorance means someone does not know. Stubbornness means someone refuses to know. Ignorance can be fixed with education. Stubbornness is harder to change because it is emotional, not intellectual. Intelligent people recognize this difference quickly. They help the ignorant and avoid arguing with the stubborn. Another important concept is emotional contagion. Emotions spread between people. If someone is angry or negative, their mood can affect you. Intelligent people guard against this. They maintain inner stability. Techniques like deep breathing, short breaks, and positive self-talk help maintain balance. You cannot stop others from being negative, but you can stop their negativity from controlling you. Respect is also key. Calling someone stupid may feel satisfying, but it rarely improves the situation. Even if you believe someone lacks intelligence, treating them with basic respect reflects your character. Psychology shows that people are more likely to listen when they feel respected. Disrespect closes minds. Respect opens doors. Intelligent people also practice strategic withdrawal. If a conversation turns into chaos, leave politely. Say you need to focus on something else. Walking away prevents escalation. It also shows emotional maturity. You do not need to prove your intelligence in every discussion. Your peace is more valuable than winning. Growth mindset is another powerful idea. Instead of labeling people as stupid, see them as limited in certain skills. Skills can improve. Intelligence can grow with effort and learning. When you adopt this mindset, frustration decreases. You see potential instead of permanent weakness. At the same time, intelligent people know they are not perfect. Everyone has blind spots. There may be areas where you lack knowledge. Remembering this creates humility. Humility prevents arrogance. Arrogance damages relationships and isolates intelligent people. True intelligence includes kindness. Sometimes people behave foolishly because they are stressed, tired, or overwhelmed. Stress reduces thinking ability. When someone makes a mistake, consider their situation. Compassion does not mean accepting harmful behavior, but it encourages understanding before judgment. Intelligent people also build strong support systems. They surround themselves with thoughtful, growth-oriented individuals. This balance helps them tolerate less intelligent behavior in other environments. When your main circle stimulates your mind, occasional foolishness becomes easier to ignore. Another useful technique is asking questions instead of arguing. When someone says something incorrect, ask them to explain. Often they realize their mistake while speaking. Questions encourage reflection without direct confrontation. This method is less threatening and more effective. Confidence is essential. Intelligent people do not need constant validation. If someone refuses to understand logic, it does not reduce your intelligence. Your value does not depend on others agreeing with you. Internal confidence protects you from frustration. In professional environments, documentation is important. If dealing with an incompetent coworker, keep records of communication. Stay factual, not emotional. Use clear instructions. This reduces misunderstandings and protects your reputation. In personal life, sometimes acceptance is the only solution. You cannot upgrade everyone's thinking. You can only upgrade your reactions. When you accept reality, peace increases. Fighting reality creates suffering. Psychology teaches that suffering often comes from resisting what we cannot change. Finally, remember that intelligence is not about proving others wrong. It is about living wisely. Wisdom includes patience, empathy, boundaries, calmness, humor, and self-control. When intelligent people deal with less intelligent behavior, their goal should not be domination, but stability. The smartest response is often the quietest one. The strongest person in the room is not the loudest, but the most controlled. When you master your reactions, you win every interaction, even when the other person does not change.